I'm really happy to have a couple of awards nominees joining me. If you guys could just spend maybe 10, 15 seconds, at most 16 seconds, to introduce yourselves and tell me where you're coming from and what you're doing. So maybe you could just start from you?
Sure. My name is Andy Thelander. I'm coming from LA. I'm the creative director at Active Theory. I do UX, design, art direction, some front-end development, a bunch of different stuff.
All right. Under 10 seconds? Brilliant. I like you much more already. All right?
So my name's Thomas Strobel. I'm from Austria, from the agency Wild, one of the founding partners, and we're basically doing the same thing as these guys. So yeah, focusing on microsites, lots of animations and visual stuff. Yeah.
Hi, I am Enea Rossi from Italy. I'm working in Adoratorio. I am a co-founder and creative director, and I make web design principally and project leader of the team.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Camilla, and even I'm an Adoratorio co-founder and creative director, and I come from Italy, exactly as Enea.
Okay.
So I'm Keitaro Suzuki from Japan. I'm working for Shiftbrain. We have 2 offices in Tokyo and Rotterdam. So I'm a design director in Shiftbrain.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Gilles. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Dogstudio, a digital company in Belgium, in the south of Belgium.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Bryan James. I'm a freelance interactive designer and developer. I kind of try to make design and code kind of fuse into one as a freelance kind of mix.
Okay. You need 2 microphones, don't you?
I'm Daan Klaver. I'm a co-founder and creative director of Build in Amsterdam. We do strategy, branding, and e-commerce.
Okay. All right, so we have a nice, interesting bunch of people coming from very different areas, which is really, really interesting. So I don't want to appear old, but I kind of am. So I've been around on the web for many, many years, starting from 1997, 1998. I'm really curious about your experience when you actually came on the web. So when you actually started designing, I don't know, maybe you might have different years, like different amount of years of experience. Was it hard? Was it difficult? Was it easy? What was your experience initially, kind of getting to this level where you are now? Do you feel like it was a path full of hurdles, full of difficulties? Or was it kind of just building up on top of existing knowledge? Because just to give you some idea, for me in the beginning it was really complicated. It felt like I have no idea what I'm doing, like at all. And then we all had all kind of browsers that we had to deal with, and which are really totally different. And things kind of got streamlined in a way, but now, with all this responsive design and different form factors that we have to design for, things are again remarkably complicated and so diverse. It's really incredibly difficult to build an experience. You're building sets of experiences. So was it easy? Is it easy for you to design? Or do you know exactly what you're doing? Or is it all, I have no idea how to do it. I'm just going to try to figure it out in the end of the day? Maybe somebody wants to share something.
Well, so from my experience, it used to always be like, what is possible in the web? What can we actually do? And then kind of like cater to that. What is the creative process that we can end up with a product that actually works? And nowadays, with like where technology nowadays is, you can actually just do whatever you want. Like there's so many possibilities on the web, and everything works now, and it works cross-browser. That was not a thing back then. And I think it's just crazy that you can have your creative idea, whatever it is, and bring it to the web, and it's gonna work. So that's, I think, the biggest change from back then to now.
Okay.
I think actually like became much harder because of the cross-browser, because you have much more testing, but also because of the experiences, like you just mentioned, the different experience you have to do for all the different devices, and that it should work for all the different devices, I think makes it much more complex. Before, when we just could work for one set resolution, it was like maybe a third of the work, I think, than now.
It's not going to get easier, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
I mean, if you compare it to back then, you remember that you're doing websites probably for Netscape and Internet Explorer,
yes.
two separate websites.
Yes.
So coming from that area, it probably changed a little. But you're right, especially when it comes to resolutions nowadays, it's crazy. Like,
well, but we also have this kind of new browsers, like proxy browsers, which are just, different. So try to design and build for them. There are many, many challenges and also many opportunities. Like, web typography today is being taken for granted. We had so many strange techniques powerful but strange techniques back in the day, right? When things used to be a little bit more complicated. But for you in general, like, is it comfortable to be in this kind of industry, or do you feel like you're more generalists, where you know everything, or not everything, but a lot of things about different things, or are you specialists and trying to specialize in one specific area? Because this is a kind of two directions that you can go with. You either know a little bit or enough about everything, and then know where to navigate, or you become the ultimate master in one specific thing, and then you stay kind of really try to specialize. What is your pick?
I think it's better to stay generalist. You kind of need to have a broad range of knowledge because it really influences your decisions in different areas. Like if you're the best designers know how things get built, the best developers know what good design looks like. You really need to cross roles in order to build group products. I think if you kind of work in a silo and you expect that quality to translate into the next person, that doesn't always work and you might get frustrated. You kind of need to be a part of that process. So I find the best people are ones who can understand every part of the project lifecycle and kind of like how it needs to end up, I guess. And I mean, that involves the whole team, but everyone should share roles.
Okay. Others? Any?
For me personally, that's something that it's linked back to your question before about like how things have changed. I think back in the day when maybe some of us started, maybe 10 years ago, when Flash was the thing, there was generally more of the people who would do design and development in as one kind of package, like Andy was saying there, across the board as a talent. Whereas I think one of the problems of the model for the past few years, maybe it's edging out now, but maybe one of the problems of the agency model now is you've got designers and developers, and I think that's something that's changed. And I think basically the best way to go is kind of try to specialize in one thing, but have your eyes on the other things, and then try and kind of get other things involved as well. Because back in the day, the Flash people who were making websites, they were doing the entire thing. And I think, yeah, as Andy says, having a broad range of skills is possibly the best way to go in terms of any of the specific things. You're going to become good at that if you have a broader skill set. Okay.
Well, personally, I would also kind of tend to be more generalist just because I am a generalist. But I think it's really important at this point to kind of be able to know your way around what is happening and then navigate to a specific thing if you need to. But you need to know what is happening. And you as cool kids doing great work, because this is like the reason why you're nominated for awards. You have to tell me what's cool these days. Is it VR? Is it AR? Is it I don't know, artificial intelligence? Is it chatbots? Is it conversational interfaces? If you had a project that you would love to work on, right? What would it be? Would it be more like in VR or AR or anything else? What would you love to work on? What's really cool these days? Anybody?
To me, it should never be about what's cool. It should be about what's going to get a lot of eyes on something. That's what makes you feel happy inside, to know that people are looking at your work. It's regardless of the technology. It's regardless of how it's made. To me, that's what you should look at. How the idea that's going to make something.
Well, but you also need to know the technologies in order to get there, right? You need to know. Oh, maybe. I would love to get some experiences in VR just to know how to get to those environments or those spaces where we can attract more people, for example, right? So, but I know what you mean.
Well, if you mix the two, then it creates the best results. You can make an amazing VR experience that nobody will care about if the idea is not good, and you can make a great idea that's executed poorly. That's the exciting thing, I guess, about what you're saying about technologies. If you take core ideas, then
Anybody else?
I think maybe like artificial intelligence and what visual stuff can be produced out of it can be very interesting. Because it's something that hasn't been there before due to like computational power and so on, and it's going to be really, really strong. Not just for crunching numbers, but I also think like for analyzing images and so on, where people like can submit things that they weren't used to submit to experiences, and then having something being generated out of it with artificial intelligence, that can be something very interesting. Okay.
Yeah, as you told, we are all kids here, and we are all passionate about the new technology. But I think our work is to make it invisible. And if an agency is using VR, and if it's invisible but the experience is great, it's that we did well our job. No.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. It's not important is VR or which technologies, but it's important that the project is meaningful and is important for the person. No, and I think this is the better things to make something.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm curious now. So if anybody of you could just share one obscure trick or tip or technique that you're using all the time that saves you a ton of time every single time, and something that you wish you'd discovered years ago that would have saved you a ton of time, maybe a ton of money, I don't know, for people who are just coming to the industry to know, okay, I can do this. Oh, you see, I can actually use it in my work as well. What would it be? That one little thing that really saves you every single time.
It's maybe a bit daring to say, but I think like why we're all here as well is because because you look at each other and you look at each other's work, and when you start out, it's really difficult to create something from scratch and create something unique. So I think it's a lot of time. It's a good idea to look at what's out there. Maybe you start out with copying it a bit with the start, and then changing it up while you're designing. You don't have to invent every little aspect of what you're doing. I think because when I was young, I constantly thought I have to invent everything I'm doing. And so much has been done. So get the best pieces out of all the things you see, combine it and make great work.
Okay. We tend to say that, copy what other people are doing, but then break it like mercilessly. And then create something new.
Yeah, take it further.
All right. Anybody else? Can be a dirty trick as well. I don't judge.
Well, I mean, something that we started doing when we first started is just don't give people options to choose, because that usually results in kind of like a mixture of different styles. Like when you're presenting designs, you don't need to do options. Like pick a design that you think is the right approach and go with that design. Like don't present 3 designs, because they're just going to pick and choose bits of that, and it's going to create something. It's going to create this monster that you didn't want to happen. Like go choose a direction, be confident in your choice, and just go do that.
Okay.
I think you can also fake it. That let people, I don't know, think that it is it's real, and it's not real. We are in a digital industry, and it's really easy to fake stuff at the principle when you start. And we did that a lot at Dogstudio at the beginning.
Okay. All right.
And another thing, I think it's not important to be the first, no, but be the better, no. Okay, I think some designer copy and remix. I think I really agree with building Amsterdam, because we have some designers have already designed a lot, and I don't know, from our experience, we are grow up in 2 years, and now we are here with some amazing activity and Dogstudios, and we really learn a lot from the other agency and the other people. Study a lot during the night and the day, blah blah blah, for make it better, not always make it new. Right. This is my suggestion.
Okay.
For me, the number one thing to save time, if I was talking to a student, is don't leave glasses of water next to your MacBook, and then throw it all over the MacBook.
That's happened to me actually a couple of times. That's right. That actually did happen to me in a bad way, but this is we should not talk about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And another things maybe try a lot and make an error and retry.
Because this is actually exactly what I see many designers are doing, where we have lots of side projects, crazy experimental, totally useless side projects, where you just try to do something with technology, try to do something with techniques that you've never tried before. Maybe you don't have proper drawing skills, but you're good at something similar, or maybe you are coming from fashion industry and want to kind of get into illustration, right? Just try and do something, because even those seemingly useless projects might end up with something that really is important. So I really always encourage everybody to just go ahead and do whatever. Just start drawing pictures of glasses, with or without water. Doesn't matter, right?
I
So
also-
something like this.
Personally, I also think that's a point to agencies themselves as well as the actual individual, because I think one of the problems of that approach, which is absolutely what you should be doing, you should be experimenting, but experimentation needs the company above you to allow the experimentation. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you can be, I don't know, putting paints on a sheet of paper. That can look like you're not working. It needs the agency themselves to be looking at that and thinking you're working, rather than you're not sat at your desk and you're not doing work. It needs understanding from the agency itself. So I think it's a point to them as well, rather than just the individual.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would even go as far as saying that the experimentation process is actually needed in order to do the work that we do. In order to stay on the edge of things and to have new technologies coming in all the time, you have to experiment in order to really know what it's about.
Right.
How it works. So if you want to do something for a client that involves like cutting edge technology, then you should have experimented with it at least.
Excellent. This is just perfect for me, because now let's take a closer look at how you experiment.
Okay.
And what is the work that you've been kind of highlighting, or you've been working on, projects you've been working on, and maybe the reason why you are also here today. So I don't know what order we had for the tabs. So maybe if you could come to this order, and we can switch over to the screen, if that's possible. Is it possible? Maybe, hopefully. All right. So we have paper planes first. So if you could just, everybody could just highlight what they're doing, maybe like 30, 40 seconds or so, just to lead people through the site, and what was so special about that project. What was the main challenge, maybe, or the most interesting part about it. Okay?
Do you want me to click on that?
Yeah, but it's better if you...
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So Paper Planes is an experience. It's a mobile experience. So what you're kind of seeing on the desktop is kind of like a terminal for you to throw Paper Planes in through your mobile phone. But what you're seeing, this kind of launched as an installation in front of 7,000 people at Google I/O. And it used the web as the basis of technology for everything. So people connected using their mobile phones to servers at the location. The giant screen used this mobile browser. The build that you're seeing, this is the same thing that was showing on the screen. This later launched as an Android app. It's a progressive web app. It's a website. Everything here is web technology, and it's really just like a really good representation of kind of like how far the web has come and kind of like what it's best used for. The experience itself is kind of like an abstracted representation of like how we can connect other people on the other side of the world through the access of like stamps, as well as being this sort of like archival log of connections that grows over time. A lot of people use it so far. I think it's up to like 2.5 million planes being thrown, something like 8 million stamps. So it's a really nice project. It doesn't really have any point to it other than connecting people.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. All right. Excellent. We have Inferno, I believe.
That would be us. So Inferno was for the newspaper magazine Falter, and their main claim is "Get me out of here." And we had the wonderful collaboration with artists to create this striking visual experience that kind of like takes you through the 7 stages of modern hell, you could say, which uses like just going through it real quick. We're using WebGL here to have a very fluid dynamic experience, and it always reacts to your mouse movement. And I'm just gonna pass over real quick here. It shows what modern society does wrong, and at the very end of the experience, you kind of like have this emotional thing where you kind of like let down by all the bad things that are happening. There's also actually a very good software that you can do right now. Just go check it out. It's actually great. And at the very end, you kind of like really want to get kind of like want to get closer to the end and actually get the person out of it, so you can like understands the claim very well. And in the end, you're seeing actually getting out of there, and felt like helping
Very
you
nice. All right. Okay. We have Dot. Next.
Sorry. Oh, this is our new project. I think we release this project maybe tomorrow or in this week. And we have a rethinking the female hygiene, no?
Yeah. in the sense that this is quite a simple project. We've been experimenting with WebGLs for the really first time, so what you'll see is probably not super surprising, but the interesting thing about this project is that we try to give a new identity to the period, in the sense that we think that there's no problems in having periods and being female, and so we are really proud of this project. That's an Adoratorio complete production, from the name to the brand, and clearly the website and the social project.
All right, excellent. Thank you. All right, we have Nurture Digital.
Yeah, so Nurture Digital is a video production agency based out of LA. And basically, the site, as a brief, was show their work, which was always video material. And I while the ideas phase was in place, kind of hit upon this idea where I'd like to preview their work within masks of their letter forms, which through the feed right now, you can see basically from the homepage it forms from N to U to R to T to... It goes from letter to letter in their agency name. And basically the technology used is an inverse blend mode using pure CSS. It uses two simultaneous blend modes to mask video content, which at the time, maybe it's not so amazing now because there's been a lot of projects in the past year, but basically at the time, SVG was what was being used to mask material, and I like the idea that you could literally animate the mask itself and have free-flowing animated masks that would actually mask a video. It's like an animated mask of an animation. So it uses two simultaneous blend modes using black and white. It's quite complex to explain in 30 seconds. But it basically previews the video material that they have, and then you can click inside the letter form to then kind of show the full thing. And yeah, that's the technology behind that.
Cool. Okay.
Player development,
all right.
player training.
So, and fine art for sale.
Yeah. So this is Kent of Fine Art. It's they represent different artists. That make art. It's based in LA. They came to us and said they want to be the most awesome client we ever had. So they gave us a lot of freedom to create this. The problem was, how do you sell art online? Because a lot of art websites or art web shops treat it as a normal web shop where they make a picture of the art itself and place it all next together like it's clothing. That doesn't work because you need to see it in the context. You need the reference, how big is it? You need to know the story behind it. So that's where we really focused upon. We created the whole identity. We created the way they have to show the art. So there's always something in front of it. We treat it like all separate pictures, so you can really see the art in itself. And we got a lot of inspiration, more of sort of a magazine layout, where here you tell more about the artist itself, so it's constantly a combination between art and the artist behind it. If then I go to the menu, I will just show you quickly. I'll go to artist, for example. Here you can go from left to right to see the artist. Then if I click, for example, on this artist, you get the story of the artist itself. We start with a vertical photo. You normally don't see that often. It's much more magazine style. Also the layout of the text. Then if I would go to an art piece of his, for example this, then you get really into the details of the work itself. So you can really see the value, like the amount of work it costs to make this art piece. You can even do a 360. You can see the back of an art piece. Like, these are things you would normally never see on a normal art site. And every image you can click on, you can zoom in, see even more details of it, and it's just small, nice interactions, hover states, and all of that.
Oh, nice. Okay, all right. We have the Kick Festival.
Yes, I like to show this work because the Kick Festival is a side project from Dogstudio. So we are the client and the customer, and it's always like a civil war in the office when we are starting the process of the Kick Festival website. And this year the theme was interferences, and so the team started to work with a lot of glitch effect in CSS and GIF transition and stuff like that. And suddenly one came with an idea that a soap bubble, there is a lot of interferences in a soap bubble, so we decided to try this bubble in WebGL. So it was really fun, and it's quite difficult because it's really an event website, so you have to be quite clear. People should use it during the conferences to see the program, and it's CMS based, so it's like a creative work and a content work, which is quite cool.
All right. Okay.
There
Cool.
you go.
Nice. Thank you. And then we have the last one. Just a moment. I was told that I'm supposed to close the tab.
This one.
Because it's playing music. I do like the website though. Okay. So.
This one.
Yes.
So I Shiftbrain. So we focus on the branding design. So we sort about not only web, also we making a graphic design, and so I would like to. I wanted to make a more atmosphere things over company. So I made a lettering, and we choose the photographer for the company. So yes, and also I wanted to contain the more graphic things. So I designed like a more magazine or graphic like design. Yes, here. Okay. So we focus on the also micro animations. We have more, yeah, like this. And it's more smooth page animations, and also we made a content management system by WordPress. So easy to update each project. So sorry, it's a very long loading from Japan, maybe.
Okay,
Sorry.
no problem.
Yeah. It's
All
fine.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So that's interesting. I'm looking forward to see who is going to win tomorrow. So do you know? I don't know. So don't look at me. Yeah. So I think it's really interesting to see kind of the project that you normally don't get, because normally if you're working on, I don't know, on banking website, you're going to look at banking websites, right? So it's really great to see kind of really nice overview of all the different projects that you are involved in. So thank you for that. I'm wishing you good luck for tomorrow and, of course, the time after that. Maybe you can just leave the audience with something positive for the rest of the day. If there was one message you wanted to send across to all the people watching, so they will never forget what you said, what would it be? We can start maybe from you, because we always start from here. You have one message to send across, short, one sentence. Oh, you have a mic. Anything?
Sorry, could you?
Just one sentence to send across as a message to the people watching us.
Right. Okay. It's very difficult to
Okay, that's
choose
fine.
Word. So can I speak Japanese?
Yes, sure.
That's very difficult. Just message, right?
Yes, just message to the audience, like to aliens, just not aliens.
Okay. So, いいの作ろう.
I don't know what it means, but it sounds very Japanese. Okay, what does it mean actually?
Making good stuff.
Making good stuff. All right.
Enjoy what you do and do a lot of stupid stuff.
Okay.
Don't follow agency names or company names. find something that you actually enjoy doing. Find
That's too long already.
do what you want to do rather than following some sort of dream that's based on.
Okay,
what
so you just
you're meant
set
to do.
commas in, between. All right.
Try to get inspiration outside of websites as well and implement it.
Okay.
You're only as good as your last project.
Okay.
Let's get cheesy. Make bridges, not walls.
Okay.
I think dream a lot and sleep a bit.
Sleep a bit. All right. I like that. You need a mic. Right.
Just always try to make it beautiful, but overall significant.
Oh, that's an interesting ending. I like that. Excellent. All right. So good luck, guys and girls. So I hope to see you tomorrow as well. Fingers crossed. All right. Now, this kind of ends up our little day for today. I hope it was a long stream, but I hope that you found at least some nuggets and it's useful for you, for your work. I mean, if we look back and what I kind of when I kicked off the entire stream today in the morning, it was all about finding out what the new technologies are like, and then also finding out what we can use what we can do with all of these technologies in our work. So I hope that during these 6 hours, you were able to pick some of the things that you found useful to apply to your work. With this in mind, maybe see you next time in another live stream. Thanks to Adobe and to Awwwards for making it happen. It's really great to be here, not only just sitting here at the table. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have some time to walk around and talk to people. Well, I talk to people. You know what I mean, that's not so important. So, maybe see you in another planet. Another planet? I'm so tired. See you another time, somewhere else. Maybe in the live stream. Thanks for watching. See you next time.